The Brad Rules!
How's it going, guys? So I'm here to talk about the Sonic 3 movie, and man, oh man, you talk about online and the conversations with the fandom. This movie, like, everybody losing their minds because a trailer wasn't released far in advance. And yes, a lot of movies are like that. You get a trailer well in advance, sometimes even a year or so before. I remember many times like seeing a movie and then seeing a trailer advertised for it and saying that it wasn't going to be out until Christmas of next year, and I was like, God, that's so far away. But the amount of just absolute like mindless complaining was just insane for this movie. And then when the trailer finally came out, everybody calmed down, as it usually is in the Sonic fandom, because it's full of a bunch of nut jobs, as we all know. So what did I think of this movie? It was great. It was a really good movie. I don't know how I would rank it as far as Sonic 2, which is still a great film. You could say that this movie added a lot more to the lore. This was very faithful, I have to say, the Sonic Adventure 2, but taking some liberties to actually, in my opinion, improve upon the game's story. Now, a lot of people don't like to talk about this, but I've said it. If you watch my Sonic Adventure 2 retrospective on the game, the story is flawed. There are parts of the story that don't quite make sense. It's a good story, but there's a lot of things with the writing where I don't know if it's because of the Japanese or what it is, but things were sort of, a little bit hazy as to what really happened. But, as far as like storytelling, it still was good for the games. And I think that they made a lot of improvements when it came to the movie. They expanded on things like, for example, Eggman actually gets to meet Gerald Robotnik. I think that this was like a really good way of expanding upon the Gerald character. We actually get to know more about him. We get to see the goofiness. And I think it's a really good double role as Jim Carrey takes on both of these roles, as he should. This was the right decision to not cast somebody separate as Gerald. I mean, it would have been interesting to see what older actors we could have gotten that role, but I think old Jim handled it just fine. Now, Keanu Reeves is a fantastic Shadow. I think the portrayal he does as Shadow, doing his voiceover, and just, he brings life to this character. And it can be sort of tough, with a role like this, because Shadow is stoic, but he still gives off an air of charisma, and I think Keanu Reeves was definitely the man for the job here, and I think he pulls it off sensationally well, I have to say. I really think that this is a very good voice for Shadow. You could say that maybe Shadow found his true voice actor here. That's not to knock all the great Shadow voice actors we've had in the past, but I think that he does a really good job, Keanu Reeves. Now, as far as we're talking about Eggman and Gerald, what about the humans? In Sonic 2, many people said that, the wedding angle with Rachel, it was just completely overblown. It definitely was the weakest part of the film, without a doubt, when it came to Sonic 2. The wedding was just, it had its funny parts. I can't say I didn't enjoy it. I would be lying if I didn't say the first time I saw Sonic 2 that I didn't laugh at certain parts of the wedding with Rachel, and the craziness surrounding that. But the humans' presence, it's greatly reduced in this film. Tom and Maddie, their screen time has been decreased. There is an important scene with Tom where he gets injured by Shadow, and we get to see Sonic's relationship, kind of take a whole new meaning. We get to see just what Tom means to Sonic. If we didn't know that already, we get to see it on a whole nother level, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. We also get to see Wade from the Knuckles series from Paramount Plus, and he only appears in one scene, which is crazy because he was in all those episodes of the Knuckles series, and we get Sonic 3, and this motherfucker is only in one scene, and he's actually watching the Master Emerald for Knuckles, and he's playing hockey with it. But anyway, we were talking about Rachel and Randall. Well, I didn't mention Randall yet, but anyway, that's who she's supposed to marry in Sonic 2, and what the whole wedding angle is built up around, and we get to see them here. But it's only because Tom and Maddie are disguising themselves using a device, and they do that to gain access to gun headquarters. And it's a funny scene. And it's only their likenesses, they're not actually in the film. So I think that Jeff Fowler and many other people writing the script here, they probably took note of how many people dislike the wedding scene and the Rachel character, and they kind of used it sparingly, you know, like just right here, and that's it. And I think that that was a good idea. You know, they still had a nice humorous opportunity here that they took without it going so far as to have a whole wedding built around it. Now, one of the best things about this film, and like one of my favorite scenes, is what I just mentioned before. When Sonic gets angry at Shadow injuring Tom, and he goes fucking apeshit. He takes the Master Emerald from Wade, and we get a Super Sonic versus Super Shadow fight that we haven't seen anywhere else but in Sonic X. And I think that's insane that they never took the opportunity to have them fight in their super forms, not even in the comics, not even in any of the cartoons besides Sonic X. You know, we could have, in the games, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you really think about it. Like, that's such a cool concept, and we got it here, which makes it feel very special. And I guess that's kind of the thing. I'm happy that they really didn't do that so much in the past, because we got to see it here, and I was like, damn. And you know, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, where else have we really saw this? I was thinking about all the games, and I'm like, there's not a single game where these boys throw down in their super forms. And I thought that that was crazy. So once again, Sonic X, right? But you know, here's the thing also that reminded me a lot about Sonic X. Sonic letting his anger get the best of him reminded me of that one episode in Sonic X where Sonic turns into Dark Sonic. And I thought that that was really cool. And, you know, yeah, that this definitely was, it had to be Sonic X inspired. If not that, then we were dipping into the Archie Sonic comics, where Sonic would get more emotional, where Sonic showed even more personality. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I am a huge, massive fan of Archie Sonic, and I'm not even opposed to a lot of the writing that Ken Penders did when he tried to take Sonic and make him like more of a fleshed out character. Yes, there was a lot of like strange, crazy things in those books, but I absolutely loved them. I liked when we had a Sonic universe that could be anything. And I have to say, when it came to this movie, I was very impressed by the decision they made here. Sonic was more humanized. He was a more emotional Sonic. He wasn't just this, you know, brash, snarky, sarcastic character. I thought that this was really good, and I'd like to see this direction for Sonic. You know, we do get to see a little bit of this, in Sonic Frontiers, just a tad, not really to my liking. I really feel like they're scared a lot of times, Sega, of having Sonic be a bit emotional. That's why we have all these mandates in the IDW comics. You know, they're too scared of Sonic being something more than, you know, just his surface level persona that everybody knows him for. And that makes me really sad when I really think about it, because a lot of years have gone by and we seem to not really get that same emotional level. Like, I want to see the Sonic from Sonic Sat AM. I want to see the Sonic from the Archie comics. I want to see Sonic, you know, just have a bit more to him. Like, I'm always very fascinated by that side of Sonic, and we got it here, and I'm very grateful for that. So what else happened here? So we've got the epic finale with the Eclipse Cannon, and I really like how, like, game accurate they made this. You know, and then Eggman has to jump in to save the day when he realizes that Gerald is actually, you know, just a madman, and he's even too crazy for Eggman. And I like that, and it meant so much more to have Eggman see this firsthand. Instead of just learning about his grandfather's plans, he is actually experiencing it firsthand with him by his side. And I thought that was really good. You know, I like what it did for the characters. So yeah, now actually getting a chance to talk about this, Sonic 3 is probably the best Sonic movie as far as characters go, because there was character development, things happened here. And we see that the Eclipse Cannon, it basically just gets destroyed, and we think Shadow is gone, as well as Eggman. And I think that this is an epic finale. So we see in the post-credits, we see, well, in the mid-credits actually first, we've got Metal Sonic coming upon an actual Sonic, and we see that there is an entire army of Metal Sonics, and Amy shows up. First, she's a cloaked figure, then she comes out with her Pico Pico hammer and destroys them all. So she was rumored to be in this film, but she actually ended up appearing in the mid-credit scene. And then we get a post-credit scene, which was a little bit laughable, because all of this is just Shadow picking up his wristband signifying that he's alive. Eggman, I don't know. I guess, you know, maybe Jim Carrey's not certain if he wants to come back or not. We'll have to see. But anyway, yeah, that was just a little brief scene. So Shadow's alive. Who knows what they're going to do with Sonic 4? I mean, you know, when I first saw Metal Sonic, I'm like, are they going to do a Sonic CD adaptation? And, well, they kind of already destroyed Metal Sonic. So unless they do something fucking crazy like Neo Metal, I don't really think that they're going to do that, because they're very sensitive when it comes to Neo Metal. You know, that's another IDW comics mandate. Don't use Neo Metal. You know, I guess, I don't know if they don't want to overdo it with Neo Metal. He was there like right at the beginning of the IDW comics, but, you know, there's all these mandates, Sega and all that, but I don't know. You know, like, what really could they do with this? Could you imagine if they do something like rework the story of Sonic 06? Or how about this? How about they just do a completely original story? That might actually be for the best. Instead of doing some adaptation, what about taking pieces of other games, kind of like what they did here? You know, Shadow's riding around a motorcycle, so they took some stuff, and he even picks up a gun, and that's like Shadow the Hedgehog. So, you know, they can take all these elements and kind of make their own film. You know, they could take a little bit from Sonic Unleashed. Maybe, you know, Eggman wants to break the planet apart. You know, take some ancient beasts, do some shit like that. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I greatly enjoyed this film. Lots of cool things going on with Sonic getting angry and letting his emotions get the best of him. The double role, Gerald getting fleshed out here in this film. A good portrayal of Shadow from Keanu Reeves doing the voice. So yeah, I was a big fan of this film. I thought it was a home run. I thought it was really good. And if you haven't seen it, I greatly recommend it. So there you go, guys. I hope you all enjoy it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments down below. Did you enjoy Sonic 3? And if you didn't, tell me why. And if you did, let's discuss all the great things about it. How about that supersonic scene? Wasn't that great? I think that would have been, I think that's something that they could really flesh out more in the future films, more of Sonic. I think that's great. And oh yeah, and we got, before, I almost forgot, Live and Learn was actually in the film. So people have been, really knocking Junkie XL, but we got Live and Learn, like a little bit of it, of the actual Crush 40 songs. I just want to throw that in there before I go. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support. And guys, I'll see you next time.